I opened the door, and the landlord immediately rushed at me. And he goes, Lotus, you jammed up the sink of the bathroom. I told you not to wash your dishes in the bathroom sink. No, you caused the bathroom sink to be stopped, right?
Right.
So I saw him very angry, right? He was like really, really angry. I thought, I said, Darren, that's only the grandma's theory. Okay? There is no evidence I did it. And the water is going down slow. And I had to, because he doesn't want me to talk to him, it was my right to notify him that you are the landlord, come to fix the sink because the water is slow. I didn't do that. And I kindly used a bucket. When I saw the water was slow, I didn't know what's the cause of it. I used a bucket every day, even when I do toothbrush. I even dump my toothbrush or the water into the toilet. I was so careful to protect that sink. You know what I mean? The grandma washed the clothes, washed a lot of new clothes that her daughter bought from China, from her recent China trip. Maybe it's the fabric here that caused the slowdown of the sink, right? I didn't even make any complaint. I was so considerate. He jumped at me and claiming me that I was washing dishes and get the food stuck into the sink.
Wow.
I said, I'm sorry, it's only grandma's theory. And then next thing that happened was that landlord and his wife all jumped at me. Liar, liar, you lied. Your lawyer lied. Your lawyer go to the court, lied at everything. You caused all the trouble of our family. Liar, 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 right? I really don't know what to say. I said, let's talk. If you have really evidence, talk about I lied, I tell you I didn't lie. If you say that my lawyer lied, let's talk about it. Correct?
Correct.
So they say, shut up. You are not allowed to talk in this house. I said, we need to solve the problem. If you're angry, we have to talk through it. That's the only way we can resolve the problem, right? Shut up. If you're going to talk, we're going to call 911, right?
Wow.
I said, well, this is not good, you guys. We are a family almost. What have I done wrong that I deserve to be treated like that, right?
Right.
And the wife took out the phone and started to face me and with a F finger towards me. F finger, right?
Right.
I said, excuse me, are you using F finger towards me? Right? She was filming me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she nodded her head, right? And so I said, I'm not going to be angry. You can film me, but we need to talk, correct?
Correct.
So the grandpa that day, always quiet, also was sitting in the living room. And their little daughter, little Claire, 80-year-old, who called me auntie, wanted the parents to bring me home, that beautiful little girl was also in the living room, sitting nice and quietly. And suddenly saw all this chaos started. The parents, right, went crazy. And so I just saw that little Claire very quickly stood up and left the room, right? And then the grandpa started to say, call the police, right? So they all both call 911, busy talking. I have no idea what they're talking about. I said to Grandpa, Grandpa, I love you. You and Grandma one time treated me with a dinner that you two cooked for me. I will always remember that. And that day was the Chinese Full Moon Festival. I recognize that I shall respect you almost like my parents, okay? I said, recently, you forgot to turn off the gas of the stove. When I wake up in the afternoon, the whole house was filled with gas.
Wow.
Nobody was home. I was the one rushed downstairs into the kitchen, although I was almost prohibited to go to the kitchen. I went to the kitchen, I stopped the gas, I opened all the window and the door. And I saved your life that day. Do you agree? Don't you think you need to thank me, right? Why you treat me like that? So I was just telling Grandpa that. And then I returned to my bedroom and ready to sleep, right? The police came. 10 police officers, 2 ambulances. Okay? 10 police officers, 2 ambulances. Police officers came into the home, and then very quickly they surrounded the little girl, Claire. Okay. I said, what's going on, right? What's happening? The mother said, my daughter tried to commit suicide because of your harassment.
Wow.
Right? She went to the bathroom with a knife to cut her hand, she said.
Oh.
That is bizarre. That's not possible. That's not a little Claire. Do you know Claire was always happy and totally, she is a very outgoing little girl. She speaks up her heart. She's not those kind of little girl who will commit suicide. She's only 8 years old. How does she know that she needs to use a knife to cut her wrist at 8 years old? Tell me.
Right.
Absolutely no way. It's a total lie. Right? So, I said, this is not right. Right? So the police came in and the police got me out from my bedroom. Right? And so I respectfully answer all the questions of the police officers. And the police allow me to even film the whole thing. So I filmed the whole thing, right? And then the police officer says to me, come with us. We need to talk. So I followed them, went outside. I was in my sleeper. I was wearing my slipper, right? I had nothing with me. I went outside to the outside of the room, outside of the house, in front of the front gate. The police officer sat there and do not do anything. So I conversed nicely with the police officers, right? I explained to them that, the grandma from China, she doesn't know anything better, and she was causing trouble and causing these kind of problems. Police officer doesn't really pay attention much. They were just standing there, low down their head and pretending they are listening, but I don't think they are listening carefully, okay? Then the police officer says, we need to also check on you. Come with us to the ambulance, okay? I said, I don't need to be checked. I'm not harmed. Don't worry, just make sure that little girl is okay, right? No, we need to check on you too, to be safe, right? Okay. I'm respectful. I followed them. I went into the ambulance. There was no doctor there. It was another police officer sitting on the ambulance. So what's your name? What's your birthday, right? I give him all the basic information. Okay, sit down here. I was treated like that, right? I said, so what is going on? I already finished the checkup. I'm leaving. No, you cannot leave.
Wow.
Where I'm going, we're going to ship you to the hospital, mental hospital.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're going to ship you to the mental hospital. Okay. I said, okay. Because I'm very experienced interacting with the local police officers. I know what they do for the other people. Okay. And I had one community member calling police for help, and she was always shipped by the police officer to the mental hospital at the end, instead of getting any help, right? So I thought, okay, you guys are doing wrong. I'm going to call my human rights lawyer, right? So first of all, I very quickly called my colleague who are, the co-president of a new nonprofit I'm establishing, Mr. Doik Shim. I said, quickly come here. Police is trying to ship me out, okay? He rushed over here to the ambulance. What's going on? The police officer says, we're going to take her to the hospital. Oh, where? We cannot tell you. Okay. Meanwhile, my phone was confiscated by the police officers. My hands were handcuffed, and I was locked down onto the ambulance by the police officers, okay? I was hungry. I was thirsty. I didn't sleep a whole night. I have my, lecture booked at the nighttime. And I have many, many responsibilities as the president of my nonprofit, right? Okay. So I got shipped into the Long Island Jewish Medical Center that day. I was brought to the front desk. The front desk lady says, so what bring you here today? What brought you here today, right? I said, to be honest with you, I really don't know. Ask the police officers, okay? The police officer that I only met that day, and he never know who I am. You know what he told the lady at the front desk? She is a bipolar patient. She has been on her medication in the past 2 months.
That's what they said?
Yeah. So I said, what? I said, where did you get that from, right? Well, I cannot tell you. But it is someone who is very close to you told me that. Okay. So I was still handcuffed. I was in my sleeper. I was on my sleeper. My hair was not nicely combed as a professional lady. And do you know how humiliating that is? Right? This is outrageously humiliating and deprivation for all my rights. And I got disappeared. I had nothing. Right? So I got handcuffed and was brought into called behavior crisis unit of that hospital. I told the police officer, I said, now you can unlock my handcuff. You know I'm not a dangerous lady. I was telling him on the road, I said, police officer, if your mother is in my situation, what do you think?
Right.
Okay, I'm a mother. I'm a teacher. I'm a nonprofit organization leader. I unconditionally come to support the community. And you are a police officer. You are being paid by the public tax dollars. You're supposed to help people and make sure that you are supporting the people, but you are now against the people. Okay? And so I think he got touched by my words. Okay. I said, I'm going to teach you some Chinese words. I love you, how to say it. 我爱你, right? He got very embarrassed. Okay. So then he actually said, okay, I'm going to take off your handcuff. The other police officer says, no, don't take off her handcuff. Let the doctor do it, right? But this police officer, he did take off my handcuff. So that is the most important thing he did. I went in there. I was forced to take off all my clothes, all my jewelry, all everything. And I have to put on mental patient outfit. Very humiliating. Yeah. And then they basically treated me as a mental patient. Like, do you have thoughts of harming others? Do you have thoughts of harming yourself? Right? And then they go, do you have health insurance to pay? I said, I don't have health insurance because I'm a Falun Dafa practitioner. We don't use health insurance because we do holistic practice. Okay. We don't see doctors. Okay. So I went in and I saw all the so-called mental patients are not mental patients. They are just young students. One of them are from Queen's College. Okay. So this whole system is so corrupt, and all the people in there, none of them are mental patients, but they were all handcuffed and sent over there by police. Okay. So I was there, and I very quickly looked at the situation. They asked me to deliver urine sample, and I did. And then I was just left alone, unattended, with nobody to talk to me. Okay, fine. So I was there, I meditated, right? And when I was doing meditation, Falun Dafa exercises, which contains 4 sets of exercises, people over there all came over to ask me questions about this practice because they saw how tranquil and peaceful and how nice energy, they felt it. So I ended up, explaining to them, what this practice is, and what's the health benefit, and why the Chinese government persecuted, and how I handle it. And so they said, why you come here? So I told them the true story. They said, oh my God, this is outrageous, right? So the whole 6 hours I spent there, 6 hours, I meditated. And at the end of the 6 hours, then suddenly the person says, okay, the doctor now is ready for you. So I picked up the phone, right? Doctor didn't show up. It was just a phone call from the doctor. The doctor says, are you Dr. Lotus King Wise? I said, yes. He said, are you ready to go home? I said, yes, it is time. Okay. So he said, in the future, remember, don't argue with your landlord. I said,
Right.
Doctor, I didn't argue with my landlord. They lied, right? So the doctor said, oh, okay. So I said, as a matter of fact, look like a lot of people can benefit from Falun Dafa meditation practice. He said, it's not in my power, sorry. Okay, I said, that's fine. He said, your cab is ready for you to go home. Okay, so that's my experience on May 28th. And I thought everything is cool. I'm not making any trouble to them. I went through all the humiliation, all the trouble, got disappeared for 6 hours. I'm not doing anything to them. Okay, continuously exercise compassion, right? So on my side, I basically bring back to peace and tranquility and treat with all respect to everybody. No argument at all. Okay. So then I also decided that it's dangerous now if I still continue to stay there because I really don't know what's going to happen next. So I talked to my co-president and he said, come to my home and stay in my home. Okay. So ever since May 28th, I basically stayed away from that place, right? But the court documents came to me. It's a warrant to vacate, right? So I went back to the court to do show cause again, right? So I do show cause, and so I went to the court and I told the judge that this has to be vacated. The judge basically tells me that if you claim that this is a nonprofit organization property, you cannot represent this nonprofit organization. You need to find a lawyer. You have to find a lawyer to come to do show cause, he said. Okay? And then he said, what's your evidence that you were absent in that stipulation day? I give him some papers that it's my email with Attorney Ning. The judge says that's not sufficient. So find a lawyer and come back to the court and do show cause and provide evidence that you were not there during the stipulation time. So that is the reason I posted this legal match case. Yeah. So I give you a thorough information and I give you the case number and please do your best to explain to Attorney Anderson, right? That's his name, right?
Yep.
That this is a situation I need a lawyer who need to represent the whole Elephant Institute to do show cause to first present evidence that I was absent during that day of the most important court hearing. And Attorney Ning entered into agreement with the landlord's attorney even after he filed a motion to claim that this is a case must be dismissed. And it is totally discrimination harassment based case. And that motion is in the system. And Attorney Anderson can read it. And with all those horrible injustice, why Attorney Ning changed his mind and entered into a very humiliating, dangerous stipulation is still beyond my understanding today.
Right.
But my only explanation is that Attorney Ning is not being paid and he has too many other work on his plate. And he just wants to quickly wrap up and move forward. That's why he made a mistake. Basically, legally it's called a malpractice because you can never enter into a stipulation without the client's presence and agreement. Because I'm the person supposed to sign off the stipulation that day if I am present. He has no right to represent me when I disagree. Understand, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to transfer the information that we have spoke about together and that you had mentioned, and I'm going to see what it is the attorney can do for you. Okay?
So I just want to summarize to you because you're paralegal. I also studied paralegal in Berkeley College, so I know your position, right? So very important. I want to make sure that, because there are quite a lot of information for you. And first of all, I want to thank you for your kindness and patience and to listen to all this detailed information. You are very wonderful paralegal. I want to congratulate Attorney Anderson to have this kind of paralegal like you. Okay.